The top news we're tracking, though, those clashes that have broken out inside the Golden Temple on the 30th anniversary of Operation Blue Star. As you're seeing there, tempers are certainly heated. This is just from a short while ago. These clashes breaking out between the Golden Temple Task Force workers and supporters of the Shiromani Akali Dal, specifically of Shiromani Akali Dal MP Simranjit Singh Mann. Several people have been injured, and as you can see, many of them are armed with swords. The clashes broke out during a ceremony commemorating the 30th anniversary of Operation Blue Star. Remember, that is when the military stormed the Golden Temple to flush out Bhindranwale and his militants, but obviously still a tense situation there. Jyoti Kamal joining us on the phone line has been tracking this very closely. Jyoti, just take us through what you're hearing.
Well, in fact, as you were pointing out, it's 30 years of Operation Blue Star, and usually when this happens, the radical Sikh organizations, they try to make themselves again dominant, and that's what happened at the Golden Temple today. The Jathedar was speaking when Simranjit Singh Mann of the Shiromani Akali Dal Amritsar, he also wanted to speak, and there was a clash between them because he was told not to take the mic and not to speak anything because they usually take a radical stance. And that's what led to this entire clash, and in fact, the task force also intervened, but still there was this massive clash, and several people have been injured and taken to hospital now.
All right, so we do have an SGPC member with us, Kiranjot Kaur. Can you tell us what's happening there right now?
I'm not on the spot at the moment, but every year, Shiromani Akali Dal Mann, the president of which is Simranjit Singh Mann, every year they come and they raise some slogans, and every year the SGPC tries that the function goes off as peacefully as possible. But this time, some of the young supporters probably got excited and became violent. And the SGPC task force, which has the basic duty of controlling the violent element within the complex, many of the men got hurt, and we really condemn this incident because this is one day that we all need to come together and remember our priorities. Yeah. And this is not the day to indulge in this kind of violence.
And it seems
we totally condemn this.
Absolutely condemning the violence. It seems it's very easy, though, to inflame these tensions. You're saying it happens every year. This year, that the violence breaking out. Kiranjot Kaur, can you tell us if the situation is under control now? Or is it still out of control?
Oh no, now it is under control. It is only a handful of people who get violent because people come there to commemorate the event.
A handful of people getting violent, but many people have been injured in the clashes.
Yes, they have been injured, but now things are under control.
All right. We appreciate you joining us. Kiranjot Kaur of the SGPC, they're saying this needs to be condemned. If Jyoti is still with us, Jyoti, you've been talking to people, of course, in the run-up to this anniversary. It's still very clear the tensions and passions running high. Here we're hearing from the SGPC, though, that specifically when it comes to this Shiromani Akali Dal leader, every year it seems that certain speeches are made and tensions inflamed.
Well, that's right. In fact, as we were pointing out earlier, that a large mainstream population of the Sikh people, they have actually come to terms with the entire scene, though of course they regret the fact that there was this military action against the Golden Temple, and they continue to say that a military solution was not the right thing for the political problem. But despite that fact, the demand for Khalistan has almost disappeared. But for these radical factors considered today, June 6th, which is the 30th anniversary, of course, each year round they consider it an important occasion to mark their presence because that's the time for them to establish that they're still around, and they do it every year. In fact, Dal Khalsa today, which is another radical organization, has called for a Bandh in Amritsar, and Simranjit Singh Mann of the Shiromani Akali Dal Amritsar, every year he comes to the Golden Temple, to the Khalsa, to make these inflammatory speeches, and the government has been trying to walk a tightrope, trying to balance these aspirations of the radicals as well as the mainstream Sikh population. And today the same thing happened. Shiromani Akali Dal Amritsar, Simranjit Singh Mann wanted to take the stage, make inflammatory speeches, and he was told to desist from doing so by the Jathedar of the Khalsa, and that led to clashes between the two supporters of the two organizations. And of course, police has now intervened. The things are under control. Those who were injured have been taken to hospital. And usually the police goes soft on these kind of incidents because if they take any action, it usually leads to further kind of escalation of violence between the two groups. So the police also goes soft on this, but this seems to be a recurring occurrence every year on June 6th to show the presence of the radical Sikh organizations. Otherwise, the mainstream Sikh population has said that Khalistan is now no longer an issue. They have forgotten about it, but these radical Sikh organizations do not want to let go of that particular thought.
So it does look like this is something you see every year. You're telling us this time though it is broken beyond those occurrences, because as we're seeing in our screens now, those images from a short while ago, and again we must re-emphasize for our audiences that the situation is now under control. This video coming out, Jyoti, showing that things were getting out of hand or about to get out of hand. Some people have been injured, but luckily no one critically, as far as we understand.
Yes, no one has been critically injured, but what has to be noticed here is that all this is happening within the Golden Temple complex, which in itself is a slur to the Golden Temple complex, because all the Sikh mainstream people say that this is not the right way to act within the complex itself, because that is supposed to be a holy shrine. But yes, of course, you are seeing that swords have been unsheathed. There is this clash taking place between supporters of the Jathedar as well as the Sikh task force that is supposed to maintain sanctity within the Golden Temple complex, and these radical supporters who are there who wanted to make inflammatory speeches, because the government tries to stop these people because it leads to inflamed passions, and these people want to mark their presence, and that's why the clash that has taken place today. But yes, it is an anomaly this time round, because it's the first time that they have clashed within the Golden Temple complex over June 6th, which is the 30-year anniversary of Operation Blue Star.
So in the holiest shrine for the Sikh religion, in the Golden Temple, at a time when we are commemorating the anniversary of the Golden Temple operation, which of course has been condemned by members of the Sikh community, you're telling us, even mainstream members who have maybe come to terms now with that part of our history, but of course wishing that the military had not exercised that option when Indira Gandhi was trying to flush out Bhindranwale. But at a moment like that, when tensions are already high, Jyoti, you see people coming in and making these speeches and really taking advantage of that.
That's right. In fact, if you look at this entire issue, there are two aspects to it. One is the attack on the Golden Temple, and the second is the demand for Khalistan. The demand for Khalistan has almost all but disappeared, except for the radical organization. But so far as the attack on the Golden Temple, which was a military attack to flush out Bhindranwale and his forces, is concerned, that's a very sore point, even with the Sikh mainstream, because they were shattered when they saw a shattered Golden Temple because of the military actions that had taken place on it. So they continue to commemorate 1984, but they want to do it peacefully to the presence of the military attack on that particular day. But so far as the radicals are concerned, they want to revive the thought of Khalistan, and that's where this entire issue rises, that the mainstream Sikh population wants to remember the attack on the Golden Temple, while the radicals want to revive the concept of Khalistan. And therefore this entire issue, because the government, the Shiromani Akali Dal BJP government, they are walking a very tightrope balancing to maintain harmony between the Sikhs as well as the Hindu population of Punjab. And these radicals always want to revive Khalistan, and today they want to do a similar thing by making inflamed speeches, and they were told to desist, and that's what led to the last day.
And when you're telling us about the police action, Jyoti, and the government having to walk that sort of tightrope walk, police, you say, usually tend to go soft on these kind of instances because passions are already running so high. Of course, in this case, taking action and taking the injured away. Was there a possibility, Jyoti, that things could have gotten even further out of hand? Because these look like fairly dramatic visuals that we're accessing now.
Well, yes, things could have gone out of hand, but thankfully they did not. And since it was a handful of supporters of Shiromani Akali Dal Amritsar, of Simranjeet Singh Mann, who actually clashed with the supporters of the Jathedar and the task force, which is supposed to maintain law and order within the Golden Temple complex, things did not really go out of hand. But yes, they could have. But already they have gone out of hand in the sense that such a clash has taken place within the Golden Temple complex, which is supposed to be a Makkah of peace, and such an incident happens.
All right, Jyoti, sorry to interrupt you. We're getting one reaction from the side.
देखिए, जो अब आज हरमंदिर साहब में गोल्डन टेम्पल में जो दुखदाई घटना हुई है, उस पर हमें बहुत खेद है, और जिन लोगों ने ये बात की है उन पे श्रोमणी गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी की ओर से एक्शन लिया जाएगा, क्योंकि वहाँ एक मर्यादा है जो सिख संस्थाओं ने बनाई हुई है। उस मर्यादा से बाहर कोई नहीं जा सकता, और उसका पालना सब लोग करते हैं। और जिन लोगों ने ऐसी बात की है, वहाँ कोई इस तरह के आर्म्स लेकर जाने की बहुत पहले से सख्त मनाही है, और जो वहाँ हुआ तो उसका हमें बहुत खेद है। पहले तो आज 1984 का जो सिख कत्लेआम हुआ इस देश में, उसके लिए मैं उन हजारों लोगों को श्रद्धांजलि दे रहा हूँ श्रोमणी अकाली दल की ओर से, जिनको निहत्थे लोगों को मारा गया देश में। और हमें इस बात का भी खेद है, जिस संसद में हम खड़े हैं, जिस संसद के हम मेंबर हैं, इस संसद में कोई थोड़ा सा इंसिडेंट हो जाए देश में और कोई एक्सीडेंट हो जाए देश में, उस पे भी यहाँ दुख प्रकट किया जाता है, श्रद्धांजलि दी जाती है। मगर 1984 में हजारों लोग मारे गए और बेगुनाह लोग मारे गए और कोई एक शब्द भी संसद में उसके लिए नहीं बोला गया।
तो माजरा जी, जो विवाद है वो बताया जा रहा है कि ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार की एनिवर्सरी को मनाने को लेकर विवाद हुआ है। एसएडी का क्या स्टैंड है? क्या ये एनिवर्सरी मनाया जाना चाहिए या इसको नहीं मनाया जाना चाहिए?
देखिए, श्रोमणी अकाली दल पहले से जो एनिवर्सरी है वो वहाँ मनाते हैं। हमारे जो रिलीजियस बॉडी है हमारी श्रोमणी गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधन कमेटी श्री अकाल तख्त साहब की सरपरस्ती के नीचे होती है और श्री अकाल तख्त साहब जो हमारे सुप्रीम है उसको श्रोमणी अकाली दल भी मानता है, सब सिख संप्रदाय हैं जितनी भी वो मानती हैं। सो उसकी सरपरस्ती के नीचे हर वर्ष एनिवर्सरी मनाई जाती है। श्रोमणी अकाली दल में उसमें शामिल होता है।
एक सवाल है सिख बॉडी।
Okay, getting in another reaction now. We have an eyewitness joining us on the phone line. Karnail Singh, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप हमें क्या बता सकते हैं? What happened अभी थोड़ी देर पहले?
देखिए, यहाँ श्री अकाल तख्त में आज जो शहीद हुए थे हमारे सिंह या बच्चे बुजुर्ग, उसको श्रद्धांजलि देने के लिए अकाल तख्त साहब के जथेदार सिंह साहब यानी गुरबचन सिंह जी ने अपना संदेश कौम को जारी किया। उसके बाद कुछ बैड एलिमेंट्स मैं कहता हूँ कि इन्होंने गलत तरीके से ये जो माहौल को खराब करने की कोशिश की। हम उनकी भरपूर निंदा करते हैं कि वो कौन लोग हैं, उनको आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे कि जिन्होंने तलवारें चलाई हैं और जिन्होंने ब्लडशेड करने की कोशिश की है। तो जो अखिल भारतीय सिख छात्र संघ है और सिख स्टूडेंट फेडरेशन, हमने ये जो मीडिया के साथ कुछ लोगों ने धक्का मुक्की करने की कोशिश की थी। मैंने खुद एक जो मेल टुडे के प्रेस रिपोर्टर थे प्रभजीत, उनको मैंने भीड़ से निकालकर जो मीडिया के साथ लेकर आया। तो ऐसा जो काम करने वाले लोग हैं वो मैं समझता हूँ को एजेंसी के लोग हो सकते हैं जिनका सिख कौम के साथ कोई संबंध नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि यहाँ गुरु की नगरी में जो 30 वर्ष पहले हमारे सिखों के साथ जो अन्याय हुआ था, जुर्म हुआ था, उसके लिए अकेले सिख ही नहीं है, हिंदू मुसलमान ईसाई सभी लोग इसकी भरपूर निंदा करते रहे हैं। तो आज हमने मांग की है नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार से कि वो अपोलोजाइज करें भारत सरकार की तरफ से जो 30 वर्ष पहले हमारे साथ हुआ था। और हमने अकाली दल को भी कहा है कि आप कांग्रेस को निंदा करते रहे। आज जब एनडीए में आपका रोल है तो आप इसमें शामिल हो, तो आपकी फर्ज बनता है कि आप नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार को और जो जितने भी एनडीए के लोग हैं उनको ये बात बताएं कि 30 वर्ष पहले जो हुआ था, आगे जो सिखों के जख्म है उन पर मलम लगानी चाहिए और इसकी पार्लियामेंट में माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
करनैल सिंह जी, ये जो जून 6 है ये हर साल मनाया जाता है, इस बार क्या अलग हुआ जो इस टाइप का क्लैश हुआ वहां पर? क्योंकि पहला ऐसे कभी नहीं हुआ, इस बार क्यों अलग हुआ और इस बार क्यों क्लैश हुआ?
देखिए गुस्सा है जो श्रोमणी अकाली दल के लोग हैं, उनके जो श्रोमणी गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी उनकी है, तो कुछ गुस्सा है जो जिनको हार्डलाइनर किया जाता है, लेकिन उनको गुस्सा इस बात का है कि यहाँ पर जो जथेदार साहब हैं कौम के अनुकूल फैसले नहीं लेते, कई बार पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर में फैसले लेते हैं। तो वो गुस्सा निकालने के लिए खालिस्तान जिंदाबाद, खालसा राज जिंदाबाद ऐसे जो स्लोगन उन्होंने दिए, तो यहाँ थोड़ा माहौल गर्म हुआ था।
करनैल सिंह जी, यहाँ पर जो आज खालिस्तान की मांग की जा रही है और जहाँ एक तरफ 1984 को याद किया जा रहा है, आप किस चीज को ज्यादा बड़ा मुद्दा समझते हैं कि क्या 1984 की याद जो ब्लू स्टार के दौरान गोल्डन टेम्पल के ऊपर अटैक हुआ उसको याद किया जा रहा है, या खालिस्तान की मांग को लेकर ज्यादा यहाँ पर लोग मुद्दा उठा रहे हैं?
देखिए, जितनी देर तक इस देश में सिखों के साथ जो अन्याय हुआ है, जुल्म हुआ है, उनका इंसाफ नहीं होता, तो ऐसी मांगे उठती रहेंगी। जहाँ तो इस देश के जो हाकिम हैं वो हमें इंसाफ दे, हमारे जो दोषी हैं उनको सजा दे, जैसे जगदीश टाइटलर है, कमलनाथ है, जैसे सज्जन कुमार है। तो
2 टाइम स्पीकर बना दिया कमलनाथ जी को, तो वो सिखों के जो नरसंहार के लिए जिम्मेवार हैं। तो हमने नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार से ये बात कही, वो पहलकदमी करें, जितना भी जुल्म हुआ सिखों पर उसका तुरंत कमीशन बने और उसकी जांच हो, तो फिर हम महसूस करेंगे ये देश हमारा है, इस देश में हम रहने के काबिल हैं।
All right, Karnail Singh, thank you so much.